In July 2003, within the walls of a general hospital in Zimbabwe's third-largest city, security officers stumbled upon a disturbing revelation. Morticians, tasked with preparing the deceased, were discovered engaging in a chilling side business. They were renting out corpses. The motive behind this macabre enterprise wasn't morbid curiosity but rather a desperate need for gasoline in a nation grappling with economic collapse. The once promising Zimbabwe, once celebrated as one of Africa's wealthiest and most advanced nations, had plummeted into an abyss of economic ruin. By 2009, it was evident that Zimbabwe's economic journey was not just a tale of mismanagement but a catastrophic failure of leadership and governance.
First and foremost, to negotiate with the British colonial power. In other words, the existence or the presence of the Smith regime here is quite irrelevant. We have regarded them as an extended British delegation. And at no time did we recognize them as a delegation in its own right.
The roots of Zimbabwe's economic tragedy stretch back to its colonial past, marked by exploitation and racial inequality. The British South Africa Company, led by Cecil Rhodes, laid the foundation for what would become Southern Rhodesia, a territory designed for resource extraction rather than sustainable development. The company's miscalculations and ruthless pursuit of profit set the stage for decades of inequality and instability. Despite the abundant natural resources scattered throughout the region, Southern Rhodesia's development was marred by racial segregation and exploitation. The white minority, empowered by colonial policies, amassed wealth and influence at the expense of the black majority, relegating them to inferior lands and limited economic opportunities. Following a tumultuous period of independence movements and political unrest, Zimbabwe emerged as a sovereign nation in 1980, with Robert Mugabe at its helm. Initially hailed as a beacon of hope for Africa, Mugabe's leadership soon descended into authoritarianism and economic mismanagement. Mugabe's consolidation of power and suppression of political dissent laid the groundwork for Zimbabwe's economic collapse. His policies, aimed at maintaining control and rewarding loyalists, led to rampant corruption, nepotism, and cronyism within the government. The fast-track land reform program, ostensibly intended to address historical injustices, devolved into a chaotic land grab that decimated the agricultural sector and triggered hyperinflation. The consequences of Mugabe's actions were catastrophic. Inflation soared to unfathomable levels, rendering the Zimbabwean dollar worthless and causing widespread poverty and deprivation. Basic necessities became luxuries, and essential services collapsed under the weight of economic instability. The international community's response to Zimbabwe's crisis was mixed, characterized by condemnation of Mugabe's regime and attempts at humanitarian aid. However, efforts to bring about meaningful change were hampered by political inertia and regional dynamics. Zimbabwe's story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power and the devastating impact of corruption and mismanagement on a nation's economy and its people. It underscores the importance of accountable leadership, inclusive governance, and respect for the rule of law in ensuring sustainable development and prosperity. As Zimbabwe continues to grapple with the legacy of its past and the challenges of its present, there is hope for a brighter future. Through concerted efforts to address systemic issues, promote transparency and accountability, and foster inclusive growth, Zimbabwe can reclaim its rightful place as a beacon of hope for Africa and a model of resilience and renewal. However, the road to recovery for Zimbabwe is fraught with obstacles. The scars of decades of economic mismanagement and political repression run deep, and rebuilding trust in institutions and restoring investor confidence will be no small feat. Moreover, addressing the systemic inequalities and injustices that have plagued Zimbabwean society for generations will require bold and transformative action. One crucial aspect of Zimbabwe's recovery will be the restoration of the agricultural sector, once the backbone of the country's economy. The fast-track land reform program, while intended to rectify historical injustices, resulted in the displacement of thousands of farmers and the collapse of agricultural production. Reversing these trends will require comprehensive land reform that balances the need for restitution with the imperative of sustainable development. Investment in infrastructure and technology will also be essential to unlock Zimbabwe's economic potential and facilitate inclusive growth. From roads and railways to telecommunications and renewable energy, modernizing and expanding infrastructure will create jobs, stimulate economic activity, and improve access to essential services for all Zimbabweans. Moreover, investing in human capital through education, healthcare, and skills development will be crucial to building a skilled and productive workforce capable of driving economic growth and innovation. By ensuring access to quality education and healthcare for all citizens, Zimbabwe can unleash the talents and potential of its people and foster a culture of lifelong learning and entrepreneurship. At the same time, Zimbabwe must confront the scourge of corruption that has undermined public trust, eroded institutional integrity, and stifled economic progress. Strengthening anti-corruption measures, promoting transparency and accountability, and empowering independent oversight bodies will be essential to root out corruption and rebuild public confidence in government institutions. Finally, Zimbabwe must re-engage with the international community and embrace multilateral cooperation to address global challenges such as climate change, pandemic preparedness, and economic integration. By fostering partnerships with neighboring countries, regional organizations, and international institutions, Zimbabwe can leverage collective resources and expertise to tackle shared problems and seize opportunities for mutual benefit. Zimbabwe stands at a critical juncture in its history, with the potential to overcome its past challenges and chart a new path toward prosperity and stability. By embracing inclusive governance, sustainable development, and global cooperation, Zimbabwe can harness the resilience and ingenuity of its people to build a brighter future for generations to come. However, the journey ahead will not be easy, and Zimbabwe must confront numerous obstacles and challenges along the way. One of the most pressing issues is the need to address the legacy of political polarization and social division that has plagued the country for decades. Healing the wounds of the past and fostering national unity will require genuine dialogue, reconciliation, and a commitment to inclusivity from all stakeholders. Furthermore, Zimbabwe must prioritize the rule of law and respect for human rights as fundamental pillars of democracy and good governance. Upholding the principles of justice, accountability, and transparency will be essential to rebuild trust in public institutions and create an environment conducive to investment and economic growth. Another critical task for Zimbabwe is to diversify its economy and reduce reliance on a few key sectors, such as agriculture and mining. By promoting innovation, entrepreneurship, and value-added industries, Zimbabwe can create new opportunities for job creation, income generation, and sustainable development. Investing in sustainable infrastructure and environmental conservation will also be crucial to ensure the long-term viability of Zimbabwe's economy and protect its natural resources for future generations. From renewable energy and water management to conservation agriculture and ecotourism, Zimbabwe can harness its rich biodiversity and natural beauty to drive economic growth while preserving its ecological heritage. Moreover, Zimbabwe must prioritize social development and poverty reduction to ensure that all citizens have access to basic services, including education, healthcare, housing, and social protection. By investing in social safety nets and promoting inclusive policies, Zimbabwe can reduce inequality, promote social cohesion, and empower marginalized communities. Let us know in the comments what other countries you'd like to see featured next. We'll see you on the next one.